every time I try to find a way to crop out the truth of self-confrontation in order to cater to, like, let's say if I'm just talking to John or Jane at a get together and we're talking about evolving and growing, um, I I try to tiptoe around how important it is to confront yourself because I know how unattractive a concept that is, and I know how uncomfortable people are with that, and I know how just as how quickly they want to dismiss that as being important. And over the years, as I've done this, I've concluded that you can't ignore that. It just can't be ignored. The concept of self-confrontation in order to engage in a kind of like profound self-honesty is the way. There's no other way. Self-honesty is the only way, and self-honesty is often synonymous with being self-critical. They go hand in
Right.
hand.
Right. Yeah. And then, and I know today, especially like people feel besieged by so much in life that to engage in that sort of reflection,
Mm,
it just seems like it's too much, because they're
true.
feeling assaulted in so many ways, externally. And even the way that we frame those things, everything down to microaggressions and stuff, right? It's like we're looking for things to feel, just overwhelmed by. And that's where it's like, I think we have to kind of reframe like that the way that we engage life and our expectations of it,
Hmm.
and realize that it is going to be hard. I mean, that's ultimately where the growth comes in too. Just embracing the challenge of like, um, waking up, feeling optimistic or at least hopeful for the day, and then end of the day and not feeling defeated. Like how do you make it from one end to the next?
Hmm. Hmm.
And it's like if we reframe like our expectations for life, I think that could help. And I think the other thing too, man, is like having really healthy outlets. Like we don't have enough of that too. It's like when you do the death scroll through Instagram, YouTube, all of that. And it's like you either have that or you have, the silliness of a dance challenge or something, right? And it's
Hmm.
like one or the other. The dance challenges are fine, all of that, but it's like I don't know, man. There needs to be like some healthy medium where it's like it's not, the world is crashing around us and I feel besieged by it. And then it's also not a let me distract myself and just
Yes.
like be on
Yes. Yes.
autopilot. And how do you strike that balance? And it does seem too that that's where we need healthy relationships, engagement with friends, engagement with coworkers, just across the board, like the way that we engage other people is going to be critical to that too.
No, totally agree, brother. And every time when I go into my cycle of being aggravated by the world and people's worldliness and the deficiencies that revolve around to which you just spoke, which you had just spoken to, I do then conclude about like people need healthy relationships. And then I further conclude, I can't lie, people don't have somebody similar to you or I to have a conversation with. I always take for granted, not that it's in, I want to make it clear, like, I think we're fools. I think you and I are fools first, wisdom seekers second, and I think we both agree with that. But the average person doesn't perceive themselves in that way. They don't perceive themselves in any critical way. And so what happens is you get these judgmental people who or you get the blind leading the blind, just to oversimplify it. If somebody has the light bulb go off and then they realize the truth of what you're saying. All right, that's step one. And then step two, when they try to have a healthy conversation with the people in their life, I will give them this credit. People are very incompetent at doing so.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
what occurs is a kind of can't beat them, join them subconscious proclivity. And that's one of
Right.
the issues. But that being said, the zeitgeist and norms could absolutely be changed. It just takes people to speak to this problem for that first step to occur.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you bring up a good point around like when folks do engage, it's like you need to have like some standards for people that you engage with too.
Yes.
Just some very basic expectations, but one of the most important ones is that this person is gonna try their best to reserve a certain level of judgment, right? And just allow for that vulnerability for like thoughtful conversations to occur so that then you both can kind of exercise that muscle and not have like a competitive feature to that friendship or that connection. Like remove all of that shit, remove everything that is
Oh, cut out.
like that guides our lives in other the posturing and all of that stuff, right? And just this constant pursuit. I'm my own individual project. I'm trying to optimize myself. But how do you just kind of engage people outside of those realms in a way where those same sensibilities, right, aren't and expectations aren't applied. It's tough though because we those are the things that consume us now. And it's like spending a lot of time, trying to take the next step in a career, or not always that, but if it's not next steps in a career, it's like how does this job get me the next car or house or some other thing? It's like there's always some end there, and the end is generally not how do I just become a better, more decent, empathetic person who yeah, can have genuine relationships with other people and understand them regardless of our differences. Because that's the other thing. We're very hyper focused on our identity and always looking for ways that people are against us or dislike us because of those features.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's just a lack of confidence that highlights, but then also it leads to a lack of generosity in terms of like hearing other people out. So it's just like a vicious cycle, a vicious, yeah, just yeah, circle of frustration.